morning, students. We continue and we have continued with the chapter agriculture, and this is the last part of the explanation. Two topics were left to be discussed. We had stopped at plantations where a huge area is covered and intensive agricultural practices are taken into action over there to cater to the needs of the huge land which is under cultivation. Now the whole of the world needs food to eat. So there are certain major crops grown in all the areas or all over the world which can be categorized under three categories. So the major crops can be categorized under food crops, fiber crops and beverages. Food crops, mostly what do people eat? They eat rice, they eat millets, they eat wheat, they eat maize. These particular crops are the food crops which are eaten, which are consumed over by the large vast population of the entire world. Now in your textbook, each particular crops, what information has been given, where is it grown extensively, in which area is it grown, what kind of soil is needed for it, how much of water is needed, and then what temperature do these particular crops grow in. So detailed study has been given. Certain crops will be needing, like if you talk about food crops, some may be needing clayey soil, some may be needing loamy soil. But the word loamy means it's a combination of clay and sand. That is a mixture of the soil that would be needed. Some grow good in red soil. So some plants of these crops, some need lots of water. Some can grow on moderate rainfall also. Moderate amount of water also is okay with them. Some can grow even in sandy areas, and few these things can be grown even on the roof on the slanting portion of the mountains and hill slopes as well. That's the information given in your entire textbook. Fiber. Here you have jute, which is called the golden fiber, and you've got cotton with which the thread is made and then it is yarned into a cloth. These again, information about the soil they grow in and where they are grown in has been given in the text. Beverages are drinks, what you drink, like the tea and the coffee. Like these are mostly grown, tea is grown on the hill slopes, needs a little bit of lower temperature when compared to the other crops. Nominal amount of water is needed for these particular crops. So just go through the text with the detail, just 2-3 places where they're maximum grown over there. What kind of soil is needed, what kind of water, like how much of water is needed to grow these particular crops. Make a tabular data and then note down for yourself. Now let's go to the other topic, agricultural development. The population of the entire world is going up high every day by day. Now with the growing population there comes a demand for food as well. There is a terminology which has been used in your textbook called food security. Food security means amongst the people, amongst the population, the sense of security that they would get good quality food to eat, and it becomes the responsibility of the government to cater to the needs of the food of the people, food need of the people. That is called food security. Now with the food security's demand to be met with, we have to see how can agricultural development take place. Now agricultural development can take place only by intense farming technique. That means you will have to bring into action, like you have to take under agricultural practices huge areas of land and then grow crops over there using latest technology. So this is called mechanization of agriculture, where you use the latest technology. You will be amazed to hear that even now you've got agricultural scientists also working on this particular problem of increasing the yields of the soil, and how can you grow more than one crop in a year so that the yield also is good as well as the quality of the soil also doesn't deteriorate. So agricultural development has to take place. Subsistence farming you cannot take. Subsistence farming will take care of the need of only one family, but intensive care, use of technology will take care of the agricultural development over here. Now how can you do it is the question. Well, if you have to develop the agricultural practices, you will have to develop the irrigation facility, like minimal water and then maximum growing of crops, machinery to be introduced in the way of growing crops, in the procedure of growing crops, use of good seed quality, good quality seeds over there, that also is going to help in the advancement in the agricultural practices. We need to see to it that we store the grains also when we have excess, so that we have enough to survive at the times of need. Then we need to see whether the pesticide being sprayed or the fertilizer being used, we are not using it, we are not leading to the overusage of it and then deteriorating the quality of the product. So all these factors need to be taken care of for the development in the agricultural unit. For this particular understanding how the development process takes place in agriculture, the two case studies have been given about one farmer in India, which is a developing country. Developing country means a country which is on the process of development and it is not fully developed. It is still in the process of development. So it's a developing country, and one farmer's example has been taken from a developed country, which is America. And these case studies help us understand how the farmers over here are working under what conditions, and how the farmers work, under what conditions do they work, and how does one struggle or how does one survive to increase the production has been discussed. Well, here's a detailed study of how a farmer works and under what conditions does a farmer work in India, which is a developing country, and how does a farmer work in US, which is a developed country. So let's begin with our country over here. When we talk about farmers in India, most of the farmers have not a vast land to practice agriculture over there. They have comparatively a smaller land. So when we talk about the case study which has been given in our textbook, it was given like 1.5 hectares of land about the farmer which we are talking in this particular case study. Wherein in US you would see at least a farmland of around 250 acres. So that's a very huge land taken under agricultural practices. Now, when this person has to cultivate the crops, he would take advices of his friends and he would take advices of the old people who are elders in the village to know what and how can he increase the production increase the yield in his land. Sometimes he does take help of the good seeds, good yielding seeds of like every alternate year he does use the good yield seeds to sow in his in his farm. But here this farmer in USA sends every now and then his soil sample to the labs to get them tested as to know what is the status of the fertility of the soil and how much of fertilizers he needs to add to the soil to make it more fertile, and how much pesticides under the controlled version of it, how much is to be used for his particular land. So he is totally into safe hands with the scientific labs over here. This person over here is a part of the cooperative society of the village, and he's got not only the land, he's not only growing crops, he's got poultry also, he's got cattle also. Whatever is the produce of the poultry and the cattle, he sells it in the market, sometimes through cooperative societies, or he can sell directly in the market the milk or the eggs or the meat. He sells off as a side business as well. Now, if we talk about what does he use in his particular land, the Indian farmer, tractor and all is too difficult for him to buy. The machinery of yielding a crop and sowing the plants also is not available with him, so he rents it out, he hires it, and then he uses it in his farmland. But there are certain people in Indian villages who don't even have those kind of machinery. They use the age-old techniques of the bullocks plowing the field. But when you compare to USA, a farmer in USA, they own machineries, and the latest technology machineries are used by them so that the work becomes easier and they can do a lot of work in a given particular time. So the wastage of time is avoided over here because of the good use of the latest technology of what I said, the mechanization of agriculture. Now, our farmers depend mostly on the rainfall, or they have a tube well to irrigate their farms. But when you talk about the farmers in US, they have the developed irrigation system. They have no wastage of resources over there. Like you must have heard about drip irrigation, by drop the water falls, and there were sprinklers, and there were adequate amount of water. You'll be amazed to know that they have such huge farmlands that they get the pictures clicked off their farmland by the Google Maps and all, and then they leave it for the case study of the scientists over there, and then the scientists advise them what is to be done with whichever part of the land, what can be done the best. Now, when the farmers in India have to sell the produce, they cannot store. We don't have better storage facilities. So what do? They sell away their produce as soon as they harvest it to a mandi. Mandi is the local market where you need to sell your products. Now, they cannot store it even if at that particular time, even if the price is less, still they sell it at a lesser price. But this is not the case with US. The farmer in US, they have very good storage facilities. So whenever the market price would be apt for them to sell, then only they would sell. They have very good storage facilities. They have got good quality seeds. They have got good quality pesticides. That's why when you see the vegetables which are grown in India, and when you compare the yield which is grown in US, you see they are more fresh. They are bigger in size. The grain size is bigger. The fruit size is bigger. The vegetable size is bigger, and they look much more fresh when compared to our vegetables, where we are lagging behind. Because we are the developing country, we have to work a lot in this particular field to see to it that the food security is given utmost importance, and then every human being on this earth gets an ample amount of food to eat in the near future as well. So with this case study, we understand how can the agricultural practices be developed, and how can the resources be sustained by the intensive use of agriculture, intensive use of methods in agriculture, and how can we proceed further in providing food security to the people, to the upcoming generation. So that's all for this chapter. Solving exercises. I will be sending you the question answers. Have you do?